Evening all, welcome back to Space Engineers. Right, what you see here before you today is one long continuous sped up build. So this is interesting, I promise it is interesting. And this is the complete redesign of our mining carriage. And this is going to be something that is basically using all of the conveyor system as from scratch, effectively. That's the plan, because the conveyor system, I think, is something that you have to, I guess, hide inside the ship a little bit better than other ships. And really what I wanted to do was to actually build the internals before I build the hull, something that I don't generally do, so that's the plan. And what we're going to do here is we're going to build a mega mining beast, and that's kind of the premise. Now, I do make mistakes, so we'll talk about the mistakes as we go. This is one of the fun things of the game, is that mistakes are always, and so I'm afraid, sadly made. But I think this was the right way to do it, starting from scratch and building all of the pieces as you go from the inside out was really a good idea. And I think, using the conveyor tubes is obviously very, very useful, because you don't have to mess about with all of the I guess the hassle of retrofitting something. Plus, I would say that this is definitely one of the more kind of I guess relaxing things to do in a game. Is to build something brand new is quite enjoyable. So and I've also left in all the little bits where I've run out of bits, because I wanted to show you that just having a stock of surplus items is incredibly valuable. You should have a stores on your ship, literally a stores, a warehouse, or a stores, whatever you call it, because you do need to have that kind of constant, there we go, look at that, you need to have that constant flow of materials, because the last thing you want to do is think, oh crap, I've run out of iron and I don't have any of this, so I need to go and make it, or I need to go and refine it, or I need to go and blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do that. So this is why having the knowledge that you've got hundreds and hundreds of each of the parts is incredibly valuable to you. So there we go, our conveyor system is on. It's the beginning of a conveyor system, and now what we're doing is building the ship systems to this system. So we're actually going to attach 2 gyroscopes. Now, I had a bit of a brainwave when it came to reactors here, because obviously the reactor is quite big. And I thought to myself, maybe I should just use small ones. But then I thought to myself, actually, no, I will have a large reactor eventually. But one of the things that I find kills ships, and I usually have trouble with, is when your reactor is destroyed. Now, this can be anything. It could be a rogue rock hitting you. It could be a meteorite hitting you. It could be anything. Literally could be anything, bro. And one of the benefits of this system that I'm about to propose is that you don't then have this issue. Is you have your large reactor, and that's obviously your main reactor. And then you have a small backup reactor with a little bit of uranium in it. That means that if the ship's main reactor is destroyed entirely, you don't lose the ship. And you'll see why in just a moment, because I can actually show you this in maybe the next video, where when we test drive this thing, the main reactor takes a hit and the ship is almost lost. And you'll see, there you go, little bit of a spoiler alert for you there. But I think there's definitely something to be said about backup systems on these ships. And I never even thought about it until this incident happened, and it just so happened that I happened to have a backup reactor, but unfortunately no uranium on it, so that was my bad. Everything is so fragile as well. I've got to admit, I'm blown away by how weak some of the ship systems are, particularly engines. It's like, and you'll see this again, is that if you just literally tap an engine against a piece of rock, it destroys the engine utterly, and that gets a bit annoying after a while. But there we go. And another thing that annoys me is the suit energy thing. I think, one of the first things I would do on a ship is put the reactor on, put the cockpit on, so that you don't have to keep running around like a knob like I am here, because it just, oh, God almighty, having to run back and forward. It's like, oh, I need the toilet. Oh, hang on, I'll be right back. Need a piss. And then you're off tinkling away, whistling while you're doing. It's like, oh, for God's sake. So it's best to possibly build your captain's chair, your cockpit, whatever you want to call it, first with a little bit of a reactor attached to it, with a little bit of uranium in it, because that means you're then not having the problem that I just had there, where you have to nip off and have a slash, which is effectively what it looks like. God, I'm going to regret that, I know. But so one of the things also is just bracing everything. I mean, I don't do this enough, and I don't brace everything. So then if one block dies, the whole thing can be lost. So I've started to brace quite a lot more than I maybe did before. But you'll see. So we go. We're going to put the cockpit on now, just because I'm so sick of running around. Now, mistake number 1. is putting the cockpit in the wrong place. And there we go. Mistake number one has just been made. I've just put this in the wrong place. It's the wrong place. That's the wrong place to put it. Because, well, you'll see why. And I think this is something that, again, just over time, you start to learn these things. And I'm an idiot for putting it here anyway. But it's not so much putting it there, but not to defend it is stupid. And that was kind of the issue. That's what I didn't do. Also, I think I didn't put bulletproof glass in it. And bulletproof glass makes it more resilient. But either way, yeah, it's not good. So, we've got our structure there. That's actually kind of the basis of the whole ship there. Now what we need to do is put reactors in. We need to put, just all of the other ship systems. But I would not forget the hull that sits around it, because I did. And this is obviously why it didn't go too well. But we'll see that. And I think also you've got to remember that light armor blocks or heavy armor blocks, either way, they're actually doing quite a job when it comes to mining, because they do keep everything kind of running. Okay, so just bear that in mind. I don't know why I'm fitting that. I think I was just curious to see if I could fit the collector on this, but as you can see, it's quite a big beast, so we're not going to bother with that. But there is certainly a lot you can do with these modules now, and it's really nice to see the module list filling up as well. I really am quite psyched about this. There you go, it's an old word, psyched, because it's starting to look really effing cool, I can tell you. So there we go, we're going to build a bit of a structure now, and this then just braces it all nicely together. As you can see, you want to have something that just then sits nicely, and just keeps the strength there, because you don't want that conveyor tube to be the only thing holding this together, because again, one errant rock and we've lost the whole ship. It's happened to me more times than I perhaps care to admit, is that I've built a ship that looks amazing and elegant, and you can imagine it's like an hourglass shape, so it's all sort of thin in one area, and then lo and behold, I sideswipe something and then the whole ship's gone. And he's like, "Oh, dude, that, my ship's split in half," and I'm looking at there like my favorite Lego toy's been smashed to pieces, and I'm just sat there with a little tear in my eyes, like, what did I do that for? Why did I build it like an hourglass? What's wrong with me? And I think these are the questions that we ask each other when we build these things. Anyway, again, need to nip to the loo. Here we go. Look at that, having a wee up against my medical room. It feels like it. That's what it is, but. I don't know. But then that mechanic is nice, but I think maybe they need batteries. Maybe you should be able to build batteries that you put in your inventory, and then you drain them. That'd be nice. Anyway, let's look at now our backup generator. Now, this is going to be the primary way we fuel this for the time being. But again, the problem with these small generators is they don't give enough energy output. So you're always overstressing your ship, which is a bad thing, because again, you don't want to kind of risk. I don't know, actually. As I say this, I was about to say risk the reactor going down because it's overstressed. I don't think it ever does, but it may one day. So I think this is something to really bear in mind. Is you don't really want to be stressing the reactors at all. So here we go. Let's put a bit of uranium in, and then you put one in each, just so if you lose one, the others as backup. And there we go. That's our backup reactor. And actually, that is not a bad idea at all, I can tell you. That was one of my finer brainwaves, I'm pleased to tell you. Second observation I'd have is that this ship is too long. When you make a mining ship, it shouldn't be this long, because when you're kind of poking in an asteroid, when you go kind of balls deep into that asteroid, that was very graphic, sorry about that, you need to be aware that actually the length of the ship will then be under strain, because it will then be hitting more rock. There's more surface area for it to hit. So bear that in mind, because it can be quite... you start to have problems with the ship taking damage, for example. So, don't underestimate that. So here we go, just picking up some more bits. It is nice. I love this little sort of shipyard building area right next to my cargo can. I love it. I really do. I think I'm actually going to maybe build using the new conveyor system. I'm going to build a system that maybe then moves cargo around. We'll see, but I'm quite eager to develop that some more. But there we go. Join us next time as we finish off and we take this for a test drive.